is just awesome. Great to see it.
It's great being here, Dave. I didn't want to cry. I can't believe I'm sitting here. It's just really a big thrill for me. I want to thank all you people. Sent me so many great messages. ESPN, Jimmy Pitaro, all my buddies at ESPN. I want to thank certainly my family and all the fans. You've been unbelievable.
Oh, man. This is interesting to see. Your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, and gambling. Dickie V appears to have rebounded from his bout with cancer to be back on the mic, on the call. I don't know who Dave is. I should know who Dave is, but I don't know who Dave is because he's not as good as other people. Put his arm around Dickie V right there. Dickie V emotional. Welcome back to college basketball. Dickie V, you are hilarious and awesome, and congratulations. Shouts to Dickie V and his care team and all of the researchers who discovered the Human Genome Atlas to make curing whatever he had even possible. So, this is Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a Thanksgiving show. If I do a Thanksgiving Day show, it will be recorded today. Pre-recorded. There won't be one on Friday. I plan to be incredibly hungover. Not on purpose. I don't want to be. I'm getting old. I'm in my 30s. I've gained weight, and you can see it on my face if you're watching on YouTube. It's all your people's fault. It's your people's fault. So we're going to do into Thanksgiving Day preview. We're going to talk about rivalry week in college football and the college football playoff. But we're going to begin today with very disturbing news from the United States Armed Forces. I don't even know what to say about this. Army cadets at the United States Army Academy attempted to steal the Navy mascot goat. However, they stole the wrong one. How can we win wars? How can we win wars? Tell me, how can we win wars? They stole the wrong goat? There have been 37 goats at the Naval Academy as the mascot, and our armed forces saw one that looks seriously like a Lord of the Rings mythical creature. It looks so effing old. And they stole number 34, not number 37. And then they returned it safely. They've stole this goat about a couple times, 10 times or so, but dating back to the 50s. Army-Navy, the greatest rivalry in college football. So let's talk about rivalries and not rivalries. First rivalry that will be played during the weekend will happen on Thanksgiving night. Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Mississippi State, hilariously, poor Mississippi State. So they've had a weird year. First of all, they are exceeding expectations in an enormous way. They've beaten teams that nobody thought that they would beat. They've made big upsets. However, they lost to Memphis and LSU, and they probably should not have done that. As a result of that, nobody knows what to do with them. So on the road and at home at 7 p.m. against teams that are favored over them, they are incredibly good. They beat the spread against Arkansas, I believe, depending on which book you're at. They crushed Texas A&M. That game wasn't competitive in the fourth quarter. Crushed them. Crushed Kentucky. Embarrassed NC State, who's a really good team. They have 2 or 3 losses on the year. NC State has 3 losses. Their worst one, I think they have a 1-point loss to Wake and like a couple point loss, like a 1-point loss to Miami or something. Crushed them. Mississippi State last week was ranked in the college football playoff rankings at 25. And now, without doing anything, they beat their cupcake opponent by 50, and they're no longer ranked, but Arkansas is because Arkansas has a win over them. Houston is at 24, at 10-1. Now Clemson is ranked, who lost to NC State, who lost to Mississippi State, but Mississippi State has 4 losses. And I guess the 4-loss team that gets to be in there is Arkansas because people want Walmart money. I don't know. So poor Mississippi State. They play Ole Miss at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the night of Thanksgiving. It'll be at Starkville, so you have to hear that ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding cowbell crap. Ole Miss is the number 8 team in the country, and they are on a collision course with a New Year's 6 bowl. Matt Corral, because defenses are playing 2 high safeties, can't pass the ball into that. They're one of the best rush offenses in the country, but Matt Corral is losing steam in the Heisman Trophy race because poor Matt Corral is trying to win football games instead of trying to put up stats. It's going to be a good game. I like Mississippi State. Mississippi State is favored by 1 point. They have a better team. Ole Miss has a better quarterback and probably the best quarterback in the country. He would be the lock for the Heisman Trophy and probably the first overall pick if he had gone to Alabama instead of Ole Miss, but he did not. Other rivalry games. Is Boise State, San Diego State a rivalry? No. Is Cincinnati, East Carolina a rivalry? No. Is East Carolina, I stopped paying attention to them once they stopped being ranked. Oh my God, really? Oh, yikes. So they lost. They've been losing a little bit here. Remember when they were ranked out? Rankings are stupid. God, I think that the College Football Playoff Committee is, at the end of the day, at least less stupid than the writers. It's close. They lost in Houston. They lost in overtime to Houston. They lost to UCF. They lost to South Carolina, which good for South Carolina. And they got beat by App State. East Carolina was ranked, right? Am I high, or is that Coastal Carolina? My bad. So Cincinnati has a cupcake. They'll end the season that way. Other rivalry games, Missouri, Arkansas. I suppose that's technically a rivalry. UNC, NC State is not a rivalry. UNC's rivalry is Duke. The game. Ohio State and Michigan are both in the top 10. So Google is hilarious. So you Google the schedule. Here, I'll show you. I'll pull it up. See those numbers right there? Yeah, that's Google. You can just Google this. Like, you just Google college football. I'll give you the top 25, right? These numbers next to these names, I'm quite certain, are the AP rankings. So Google is I'm going to consider that a Google protest, that they're not using the college football playoff rankings. You heard it here first. I reported that story. There's division in Google about college football playoffs legitimacy. Ohio State and Michigan, number 2 versus number 5 or number 6, whichever poll you would like to believe. There is a 40-minute preview video in Google. Get out. I barely watch movies that are 40 minutes long. I don't think Michigan is going to be competitive. That's just my take. I don't know. I think that you will be able to turn this game on with about 10 minutes left in the third quarter, and if you didn't know that it was 2021, you wouldn't be able to tell that it was anything other than 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is 12 the year with the sanction? Yeah, so 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I literally don't think you'd be able to tell the year. It's just going to look so similar to all the other ass whippings. Alabama's at Auburn. I think Auburn can win this game, and I'm actually serious about that. They're kind of rebuilding. The SEC West took a huge step forward this year. Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Mississippi State were far better than people thought they would be. Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin are incredibly good coaches, and Sam Pittman at Arkansas has taken his time and gotten them to a really good place. So I don't think Auburn's bad. I think that the SEC West is good. And the reason I think that is because of non-conference wins, specifically Ole Miss crushed Louisville, Mississippi State beat NC State, and however, LSU sucks. They're the worst team in the division, which is as hilarious as it sounds. I think they're going to take last. So, but Auburn has a quarterback, and every now and then at home, that team, those recruits, they grew up with a lot of the Alabama recruits. They just don't care. They're just not intimidated, and that matters a lot. I also think Penn State could beat Michigan State. And speaking of Penn State, James Franklin sort of pseudo-flirted with LSU, Florida, and USC, and then now Penn State's gave him the bag. Penn State fans don't like it because they haven't won a national championship, also for other reasons that are super duper obvious. And I'm not joking. But if you want to, Penn State and Notre Dame would be do well to look at other programs that have teetered on the edge of relevance and look at the programs that didn't hire Brian Kelly and James Franklin, i.e. Nebraska, Tennessee, Miami, Virginia Tech, Texas, and what it's like to have just 1 or 2 crappy hires in a row. You'll never come back. Never. Nebraska is dead. Nebraska might as well be Yale with their big stadium that no one cares about. UTSA, they fell in the rankings because they almost lost last week, but they're still ranked. They have earned the right to get their asses whooped in a New Year's Day 6 bowl, probably by Oklahoma. Other rivalries, Wisconsin and Minnesota. We'll call that the Manners Bowl. We'll call that the Manners Bowl. Yeah, this is my comedy routine. Notre Dame and Stanford. That is not a rivalry. Notre Dame players are going to get to tear their ACLs on that crappy field with no one watching. Okay, let's go to professional football. Jared Goff may start on Thanksgiving Day, which would be huge news because it's scheduled to be Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle has a rocket arm, but only if he gets to throw the ball 25 yards or more. He can't throw the ball shorter than 25 yards. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not. The Detroit Lions beat writers and Green Bay Packers beat writers will tell you, but if he gets to throw the ball deep, he can throw the ball a mile. Also, his name is Tim Boyle. He's the real TB12. That's not Terry Bradshaw. That's not Tom Brady. It's Tim Boyle. But if he doesn't play, and we get to see an actual backup starting quarterback in Jared Goff, the game could get interesting. First-round rookie QB Justin Fields will not play. The Bears are favored by 3 because Tim Boyle is starting. If Jared Goff was starting, the Bears would be favored by 2. Game will be played in Detroit, of course, and I don't know who has the call. Should I look that up? But I feel bad for them. I imagine that the reason that Detroit gets so much bad energy from national media has a lot to do with the fact that CBS and Fox have to rotate this game. I don't know where it's going to be. Watch Live? Should I just click Watch Live? It's on Fox. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have to spend their Thanksgiving calling Detroit and Chicago. Chicago is 3-7, and the Detroit Lions are 0-9-1. And we got news out of Chicago. After the Fire Nagy chants that were in the Chicago Bulls, apparently there's a Fire Nagy chant at his kids' youth football game, which, by the way, Chicago, I didn't know that you were trying to be Philly. Yikes. Gross. That is obviously disgusting. You save that crap for Twitter like a grown-up. Now, there was a report from an actual journalist, and this is according to... So I'm getting this from Pro Football Talk, who got it from the internet, which is where Pro Football Talk usually gets most of their stuff. Mark Conkle, who has been a Pulitzer Prize-winning actual journalist who reports on Chicago, and now is in the Bears beat. But he's done other stuff, not just for sports. He's like a real journalist. He reported yesterday that the Chicago Bears have informed Matt Nagy that he has not coached his last game, but he will be coaching his last game on Thursday. They pre-fired him, sort of like you can do all of your pre-Black Friday shopping online for Cyber Monday. Which if this is true, this is the biggest dick move in the history of pro football. So they haven't fired him like grown-ups because they don't want to fire him on the short week. So instead, this man who's been coaching in the NFL for years had an opportunity to have a stress-free, happy Thanksgiving with his family. Remember, the Bears are going to have to pay him. But instead of that, they're like, we need you to lead an army brigade to Detroit and then get your ass out of here. The bad karma that invites is crazy to me. Let him go home on Thanksgiving. If you're going to fire him, fire him. Firing people after Thanksgiving is a great move. That's when Detroit fired Matt Patricia. It's like a little mini-buy, and no one's paying attention on Saturday because there's so much good college football. They're going to make him go to Detroit for Thanksgiving, and then they're going to fire him. Man. I think if this is true, the Bears will win. They'll rally to send him off with a good win. They hate him. Reports are that they hate him. They don't trust him. Everybody in the team hates him. But if they're going to pre-fire him, I think the team's going to rally around him. That's just my take. What the hell do I know? There were new hockey jerseys announced yesterday. Team Canada announced new jerseys, and my God, the Canadians need to be talked to. So I've got one of them pulled up right here that's red with black stripes on the arms and the waist and the black shoulders, and then the maple leaf is black. And the socks are red with black stripes. Gross. And then there's one that's white with red stripes, black pants, white socks, red stripes. Great. The Canadian hockey team uniforms are so nice. The Canadian flag is not, I wouldn't call it like, it doesn't invite reverence, but it is sweet. Everybody loves it. These jerseys that they dropped, this one is black with red outlines. It's like black on red on black. It looks like a high school football uniform. Don't ruin something that is this cool. Gross. God, what are you people doing? On a similar vein, the New Jersey Devils announced similar jerseys. It says on it, Jersey. Ask me if I'm joking. The jersey says Jersey. In cursive. It's pretty cool. I think they're only, are they the only sports team? I think they're the only pro sports team in the state of New Jersey now in terms of like calling New Jersey home. There are rumors that the Philadelphia 76ers will move to Camden. But alas, the New Jersey Devils will have to hold down. They're going to have to hold down the fort. Michael Strahan is getting blasted off into space for Good Morning America, or did he already do it? I don't know. I didn't read that because he's kind of exited the sports sphere. We're kind of holding on to him. We need to let him go. We need to let him go live his life. Asked yesterday about the final primetime game of the year for the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell says, oh, wait, are you telling me they're not going to flex us to primetime? It's good he can keep his humor up about that. Also, shouts to Mike Zimmer, who's a fat, old, cranky coach, but he's dating a Maxim model. The Minnesota Vikings head coach is having himself a good year. Feels like it'll be his last year in Minnesota as well. I may be back and better than ever tomorrow. I may be back and better than ever on Monday. Who's to say? Haven't decided yet. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Force your family to listen to this wherever you're traveling to. I would appreciate it. 5-star reviews, etc., etc.